Good morning, class. This lesson focuses to understand the delineation between creative and non-fictional elements of creative non-fictional text, especially dialogue and diction. As you journey through this lesson, you are expected to identify the parts of dialogue, determine the words needed in writing formal and informal diction, and effectively write drama using dialogue and diction. So I have a 5 question here that you will be answering. This will prepare you for our lesson for today. So I will reveal the answer at the end of our lesson, so you have to listen well for you to determine the correct answer. Advise you to take notes of what I say because there are important things I say that were not in our PowerPoint. This is the 5 question. In letter A, the questions, and in the letter B is the answer. So you will find the appropriate answer in our question. So question number 1, verbal exchange between two or more characters. So is it a diction, dialogue, characters, types of diction, or parts of dialogue? And then number 2 question, word choice. And then number 3 question, name of the character, dialogue, adverb and stage direction, line break. And then number 4, formal and informal. And then number 5, lines or statements of a character. So our 4 objectives for today is, at the end of the lesson, the learners are expected to, number 1, identify the parts of dialogue. 2, determine the words needed in writing formal and informal diction. And then last, 3, effectively write drama using dialogue and diction. Now, I have a sample of conversation here. Read it along with your classmates. And can you please read this, Johnny, the line of Joseph, and Riza, the line of Marina? And I will be the narrator and you are the reader in the line. So please read it with the right pronunciation and expression.
Good morning. I would like to talk to Mr. Dan Brown, please.
Good morning. I'm sorry, but Mr. Down Brown is not here at the moment. Would you like to leave him as a message?
Yes, please. Tell him that Miss Sumati need to speak with him.
Sure, I will tell him. Does he have your phone number?
Yes, he has it. Thank you.
You are welcome. Is there something else?
No, that it's all. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Mr. Joseph.
For now, who are the characters in the text?
Joseph and Marina.
Very good. Number 2, how Joseph greets Marina?
Cheerfully.
Very good. 3, what is the purpose of Joseph talking to Marina?
He wanted to speak Mr. Dan Brown.
Very good. Then number 4, why Joseph wanted to speak to Mr. Brown?
Miss Sumati wants to speak with Mr. Dan Brown.
Very good. Then number 5, last question, what action did Marina use to agree with Joseph to tell Mr. Dan Brown?
She nodded.
Now, I know you've been wondering why I asked you these basic questions. It is because I wanted you to know about the parts of a dialogue. But before we go to the parts, let's define first the dialogue. So based on the picture, what do you think is dialogue? You don't have no idea, okay? So let's define the dialogue. A dialogue is a verbal exchange between two or more characters. So remember that is a verbal exchange between two or more characters, and using dialogue is one of the most important ways to bring creative nonfiction writing is through conversation among characters. To make those conversation clear, proper dialogue formatting and punctuation are important. So that is why we must know the parts of dialogue. So what is the parts of dialogue? Number 1 is name of the characters. Based on our example conversation, who are the characters? People, animals, or inanimate objects that are in the story. These are the persons or animals for fables in a novel, play, or movie because we are in non-fiction narrative. So do you think we can use animals and inanimate object in our non-fiction text? No. I thought you already became animals if you said yes. Moving on. So number 2, dialogue. The dialogue itself is the spoke part between two or more characters, or it is the preceded by the name of the person speaking it. In short, dialogue refers to the lines or statements of a character. So later, we will identify where are the parts of a dialogue for you to understand more where you can find it in the sample text. So moving on. Number 3, adverbs and stage direction. These are usually in bracket written between the name of the speaker and the dialogue. This gives instructions in the text of a play indicating the movement, position, or tone of an actor, or the sounds, effects, and lighting. In simple word, adverbs and stage directions gives vital information of the setting. How the character feels, is she happy or cheerfully like Joseph? How the character moves, is he running, jumping, or walking like the example Joseph walks towards Marina, and also how the character speaks fast, slow, or did she stuttering? Understand? Then lastly is line break. So what is line break? I think you already know where is the line break there in our example. Can you please tell me where it is? Okay, very good. So it is when someone begins speaking or there is pause in the dialogue. A line break separates it from the rest. In simple thought, this is a space in between each dialogue. Now let's identify where are the part of a dialogue. Let's try it first in the line of Joseph. Number 1, can you read what the name of the character?
Joseph.
Correct. 2, where is the dialogue of the character? Can you please read it to me?
Good morning. I would like to talk to Mr. Dan, please.
Very good. And number 3, how about this one? What is this?
Adverbs and stage direction.
Very good. And last, and this one?
Line break.
Okay, very good. Now, how about can you please tell me what are the parts of dialogue in the line of Maria? Name of the character is
Marina.
Marina. The dialogue?
Good morning. I am sorry, but Mr. Dan Brown is not here at the moment.
Okay. Then the adverb and stage direction?
Looks at him.
Very good. Then the line break?
In the space between each dialogue.
Very good. Now going back to the text, how do you think the characters are related? Couple ba sila? Syempre hindi. Co-workers sila. So what have you observed with the way they talk and structure their sentence? Paano sila mag-usap? Are they formal or informal? Syempre formal yung pag-uusap nila. So because they are using a formal conversation, they use a formal diction. I know you've been wondering and asking question in your head like, "Sir, what do you mean formal diction?" Before we go to that, what is diction first? Based on the picture, what do you think is diction? Anyone? No idea? Okay, let's start to define diction. Diction is the selection of words in a literary work. A work's diction forms one of its centrally important literary elements. As writers use words to convey action, reveal character, imply attitudes, identify themes, and suggest values. That diction is a choice of words that reveals the action, attitude of a character, and the theme and values of the story. In short, diction is a word choice. You choose your word on how you want to characterize a person or the other person. Actually, diction has a 5 types. These are formal, informal, slang, colloquial, and poetic diction. But for now, we are going to focus on its 2 types. And these are, what do you think these are two? So the two of diction types is formal diction and non-formal diction. So first, let's define formal diction. Formal diction makes use of sophisticated language. Sophisticated means educated manner. So they talk in educated manner like the sample conversation of the two employee. So did you observe that they talking in professional way? Yes, that's what sophisticated language means. So they stick to the grammar rules and guidelines. You consider that it has its proper punctuation marks. More importantly, they don't use any slang or colloquial words like, "Hey Marina, I want to talk to Mr. Brown." Instead, he says like this, "Good morning, I would like to talk to Mr. Dan Brown, please." They were not friends in the first place. That is why they choose words that respective to their relationship as co-workers or workmates. In diction, it is important to know who you will talk to first. You to know what proper words you will choose to say to the person. Is that your coworker, friends or parents? And then next one is it is most used in professional text, academic writing, and business documents. Like for example, email, business letter, Even your modules are example of narrative text that use formal diction. Understood? Okay. On, if we have a formal diction, of course we have informal diction or casual diction. So informal diction is more of a conversational style of writing. Conversational means casual or friendly. It doesn't mean that the example conversation can be considered as informal because it is conversational. Informal diction is more of a conversational style of writing, means the choice of words were easy to send. Especially if yung babasa ng di natin alam, yung target audience sa babasa ng creative non-fiction text natin, it is easy to use informal diction for them to easy understand. So it is not mandatory to follow all the grammar rules and guidelines. Earlier, I said the formal diction don't use any slang or colloquial words like, "Hey Marina, I wanna talk to Mr. Brown." It is uses "hey" and "wanna," right? Do you think we can use slang and colloquial words like this in informal diction? Yes. Okay, very good. It does not mean we must not follow the grammar rules and guidelines. We need also to remember that we need our readers to understand what we are talking to in UPIS. Moving on, let's see our example here. What diction do you think in the first sentence? Yes, it's informal. And then, what diction do you think is the second sentence? Yes, it's formal. So what are differences of the two? The first one use slang language like hi, while the formal sample use good morning. Then second one, the informal sample uses your it's your shortcut the word you are that used in the second example. Then third, it uses wanna. It is colloquial word while the formal one use want to. And remember that formal diction uses sophisticated word like please here in our example. So one of the technique of informal diction is it shortcut that the word like was not, wasn't, is not, isn't, do not, don't, or use slang words and colloquial words like OMG, ILY, SML, SKL, legit, YOLO, bro, sha, epic fail, chillax, emo, and etc. Then now let's go back to the first 5 questions I gave earlier before we start the lesson. Now let's go back to the first 5 questions I gave earlier before we start the lesson. So number one, verbal exchange between two or more characters. So what do you think is the answer? So letter B, dialogue. So that is the answer in number one. Okay, then number two, word of choice. The answer is letter A. What is the letter A? Addiction. And then number three, name of the character, dialogue, adverbs and stage direction, line break. What is that? Letter E. So parts of a dialogue. Okay. Then number four, formal and informal. What is that? Letter D. Types of diction. And then number five, line or statements of a character. That is also a letter B. Dialogue. This activity, write a short draft of a dialogue cheering up someone we said using proper diction. So you will going to create a dialogue cheering up your mother, your dad, and your friends. So in this activity, I want to see the part of a dialogue like in our sample text. And of course, you have to choose your words or proper diction cheering up your parents and friends. And if you can finish it today, let's consider that as an assignment. Remember, the manner you speak determines your character. Think about your purpose and the message you want to convey. Most of the time, we tend to say things that is not appropriate to say to the person and have regrets after. Now, let's think. Do you want the person you are speaking to be moved, convinced, entertained, frightened, happy, angry, loved, comforted, reminded of of their childhoods? You can elicit any of these reaction and feelings from them if we choose the proper words to say. for your reflection, how you can apply your learnings on the topic in your daily conversation. So, in this reflection, you can write it on your